I'm pleased to be standing here with the Forest Preserves District's General Superintendent, Arnold Randall. We're here today to release the Forest Preserve's comprehensive desk audit. Throughout my campaign and my administration, I've emphasized the need for desk audits in Cook County government. When I was sworn into office, I asked the Forest Preserve District to initiate desk audits so that we could begin to take a comprehensive and detailed look at the operations of Cook County government. Quite simply, the goal of a desk audit is to assess the overall effectiveness of an organization. Its purpose is to ask whether jobs within the organization are functioning properly and aligned with their stated objectives. The release of the Forest Preserves District's desk audit is part of our effort to make Cook County government more transparent and accountable and serve our residents and taxpayers more efficiently and effectively. As Superintendent Randall will explain in greater detail, this desk audit report provides 118 specific recommendations to strengthen, improve, and streamline the Forest Preserve District's operations. It creates a framework for reform and focuses the Forest Preserve District's efforts moving forward. I've said for a long time that the forest preserves are the gem of Cook County. In fact, 11% of our land is in our forest preserves. The Forest Preserve District improves the quality of life of the residents of Cook County. Its wildlife preservation and environmental protection work is essential to maintaining the region's biodiversity and health. It's also a source of recreation and education for all of our county residents. That's why this desk audit report is essential. For too long, the Forest Preserve has been adrift without strong leadership or a long-term comprehensive strategy. It's time for the Forest Preserve District, just like every other government agency, to take a hard look at its core functions and to figure out ways to improve and streamline its work. For the Forest Preserve District, it means building and implementing these critical functions: a performance management system, an annual employee engagement survey, a comprehensive compensation review, an intranet system to post information and achieve best practices, policies, and procedures, a quarterly reporting system, and more effective management and supervisory training at all levels of the organization. These are only a few of the solutions and reforms that are being implemented. Let's make no mistake about it, this desk audit is tough but fair in its critique of the Forest Preserve's core structure, strategy, and operations. I've encouraged Superintendent Randall to embrace this report and its recommendations as a constructive blueprint. This desk audit is a real opportunity to redesign and rebuild the Forest Preserve District into a respected, resourceful, and responsive government agency. There are many dedicated and hardworking employees at the Forest Preserve District, and our challenge is to build upon the district's leadership, resources, and assets to create a better, streamlined, and efficient government. I have great confidence in Superintendent Randall's ability to carry out the recommendations in this desk audit. I look forward to hearing about the Forest Preserve's progress in implementing these recommendations. Now I'd like to turn the podium over to Superintendent Randall so he can brief you in more detail about the findings.
Today, the Forest Preserve District is indeed releasing our comprehensive desk audit. We share President Preckwinkle's commitment to transparency, accountability, and improved services for the residents and taxpayers of Cook County. Why did we go through this process? The Forest Preserve initiated our desk audit under a directive set by President Preckwinkle. We needed a comprehensive desk audit and review to understand and determine our organization's historic and ongoing strengths and weaknesses. The desk audit will also allow the Forest Preserve District to focus on areas to streamline our operations and prioritize recommendations in the report. There is no doubt that there are critical areas where the Forest Preserve must make constructive changes, from improving our internal communications and upgrading our technology, where we're lacking in a very significant way, to more effectively evaluate our employees on a regular basis and clarify employees' job descriptions and roles. Earlier this year, the Forest Preserve District contracted with AMD Business Solutions, Inc. to conduct an independent audit to ascertain whether jobs are properly functioning and correctly represented in each job description. The audit included in-person interviews with 100% of the staff who were available during the months of May and June of this year. The employee interviews consisted of 18 core questions related to job duties, scope, authority, autonomy, supervisor responsibility, and others. Employees were provided with a copy of questions in advance of the interview, so they had a chance to think about it. As the report notes, the purpose of the desk audit was to evaluate the position, not the person. To be clear, the interviews with the district's employees became the basis for the 118 recommendations and reforms listed in today's report. We are deeply appreciative of our employees' commitment and willingness to participate in this desk audit and to offer constructive feedback and ideas about the direction for the Forest Preserve. Frankly, we needed them to be very honest and frank with us, and we feel like they were. Results. During the audit, our district employees acknowledged that our current leadership team is committed to transparency and implementing change. And they noted with a sense of cautious optimism that we would be able to make positive changes for the district. So they do feel that there's opportunities to make changes under this leadership, and we're grateful for that. Our employees feel that the leadership of the Forest Preserve District is serious about streamlining our operations and implementing these recommendations. Based on the desk audit interviews, our patron-facing employees, those who work with the public, demonstrate a commitment and professionalism towards that public. It is important that we expand upon these values. It's critical that we continue to carry ourselves with the utmost professionalism towards our patrons, volunteers, and families that we serve. One of the questions asked of our employees during the desk audit was, do you have any suggestions that would help make your job more efficient? The top recommendations were better communication, that was clearly a theme in this report, clarifying work roles, improving our technology, software, and equipment, and increasing our training and development, 4 key areas that employees consistently talked about during this process. Well, we agree with that. We agree that those are areas that we need to work on. And these critical areas, among others, are where we want to focus our attention. We can't fix these areas overnight, clearly, but I do believe our success on improving the Forest Preserve will largely depend on our ability to address these areas of concern. The desk audit looked at 7 areas: employee engagement, strategy, structure, capacity, and capability, leadership, people, systems, and processes, culture and values, and customer experience. So it was pretty comprehensive in its nature. We don't have the time to address every single one of the 7 areas or in the desk audit scorecard or the 118 recommendations. I'm sure you can look at those for yourself. But what I will offer is a top-level perspective and assessment of the critical issues that we're addressing. Employee engagement and technology. The desk audit report noted that employees consistently find creative ways to complete tasks despite a lack of technology or proper equipment. This is an example of where I want to thank our employees who have worked hard and have been creative in ways to make sure that they get their jobs done and that they're responsive to the public. For an example, during the desk audit interviews, it was revealed that several employees were actually using their own tools because they knew they needed to get their work done, and they didn't have the tools provided to them by the Forest Preserve District. We're changing that, however. People shouldn't have to use their own tools to do their jobs, but I do want to honor and acknowledge the commitment by those employees who go far and beyond what's expected of them in their jobs. Yes, we need to update and upgrade our technology and equipment. We understand how important it is having updated and technology is to be productive. The reality is in the Forest Preserve District, we are woefully behind in technology. I would, if I had to put a date on it, I'd say we're in the late 1980s, and so we've got a lot of work to do. Some of the things that we want to do and we think we can do within the next year is introduce a swipe card system or the use of biometrics for people to sign in and out as opposed to written paper sign in and sign out opportunities. We want to provide email addresses to all employees. All employees don't currently have email addresses. We want to introduce an intranet system to share information, store data, and archive best practices and policies, so a system where staff can go online and look at opportunities for them to upgrade their skill sets. We want to upgrade our legal software, such as Abacus, to increase efficiency and productivity in the legal department. In the area of structure, capacity, and capabilities, the desk audit report said that one of the most important issues is a lack of clarity and differentiation of responsibilities within departments and overlapping responsibilities. So a lot of people doing the same work, a lot of people working at cross purposes in some cases. This is one of the reasons why we are currently analyzing and rewriting all of our job descriptions to achieve a better clarity around expectations and responsibilities. We also recognize the importance of providing in-depth training to all of our employees. We know that managers often lack training and development in supervision and leading a team. The issue is one of the most critical to strengthen the Forest Preserve. It is vitally important to create a comprehensive strategy to train not just managers, but all of our staff at every level of the organization. That does not exist today. It's how we will improve productivity, and perhaps more importantly, how we will cultivate our current and future managers, supervisors, and team leaders. We are also going to collect information on data, both the quantity and quality of our management practices that will help the district to allocate the right balance of resources to better track our work and performances. People, systems, and processes. Finally, let me address one of the issues from the desk audit that has gotten a lot of attention so far. 100% of those interviewed communicated that they had not had a formal performance review in at least the last 15 years. So in effect, we've never done performance reviews with staff. This is unacceptable, clearly. And that's why we've already taken steps to begin to implement a performance review process for all staff. The first step, as I mentioned earlier, begins with rewriting job descriptions, making sure that they're clear, that everybody knows what they're responsible for. That's not always clear to staff today. But let me also quote from the desk audit report. Employees noted that having a formal performance review was one of their top recommendations. They are looking for feedback as well. Recommendations, or some of the recommendations we're going to implement right away. The Forest Preserve District is implementing these recommendations from the desk audit report, an annual employee review system, so just what I talked about, performance reviews, performance management system, an annual employment engagement survey. We should be asking what employees think about how things are going, and we'll do at a minimum an annual survey of employees about how they think things are functioning and areas that we can improve upon. An intranet system and providing every employee with an email address, a swipe card or biometric system for employees signing in and out, management and supervisory training modules, and web-based orientations. Low-hanging fruit or immediate changes. Here are a few areas that we think we can move on even more quickly. Build a full communication strategy to reintroduce the Forest Preserve District expectations, policies, and procedures. Create a repository of position descriptions and organizational charts for access. One of the things that clearly staff mentions that they weren't clear on exactly who their supervisor was, or in many cases they mentioned multiple supervisors, so it wasn't clear. One of the obvious things we can do is create organizational charts and share them with staff and make sure that they are aware clearly who their supervisor is at all times. Clarify and document all direct reporting relationships. Department heads will host individual department meetings to review specific reports. So part of the breakdown here is, in this report, each department will sit down with their staff and go through what the recommendations are for their departments, and they will have to report back through a committee and to myself on their progress. Specific, measurable, time-committed action plans based on desk audit findings developed by department heads and tracked for progress. So we will put timelines on these things for staff. They will have to meet those timelines. The Forest Preserve District is going to release quarterly updates about our progress in implementing the desk audit's 118 recommendations. Let there be no doubt that we're going to hold ourselves accountable for this process and for its success. In conclusion, I want to say this administration, we initiated this process, and we're embracing the desk audit report. We know there's work to do. We knew that walking in the door. We fundamentally believe in transparency and accountability, and we see this report as a constructive blueprint on how to reform, streamline, and improve the way we go on about doing our work. Thank you.